Well, good morning, good afternoon, hello to all the ships at sea, wherever you are in the world. Thanks for hanging out and joining us today. What we're going to be doing today is just doing a little tapping along. Basically, what we do is we do some live streams every couple of months or so. If you are interested in joining us for tap alongs just like this and you are new to the channel, I'd really encourage you to down below click on subscribe. And this is going to live on after the fact. So even if you don't get a chance to, you stay with us for the entire thing live, you're going to get a chance to watch the replays. Basically, what is happening today is for another program that I coach in, I needed to create a bunch of tap along audios. This is specifically for people who are creating and running small businesses who are having to put themselves out there. And I figured since I had to record about 11 tap along audios, I might as well have y'all join in the fun as we are doing this. I would encourage you to tap along as we move our way through it. Basically, the way this is going to work is I'm going to have a topic here on the screen. We're going to do a round of tapping, about 4 or 5 minutes on tapping on that. Then we're going to move on to the next thing and move on to the next thing and move on to the next thing. As we're doing it and you're joining us live, feel free to drop any insights, any ahas, anything that comes to mind into the chat box as we are doing it. So let's just get ourselves settled before we go in. Take a nice big deep breath. Tap on the side of the hand. Just take another nice big deep breath for me. And maybe put your feet flat on the ground, just scan your body and just make yourself as present as you can be in this moment. You don't have to be fully present, but just paying attention. Big stretch, feel your body. Great. So let's step into doing some tapping. Just move from point to point, repeating after me. I recognize the fact because I am doing something new, it's causing me to see things in new ways. I'm being faced with decisions that I haven't been faced with before. I am making choices, especially in my business, in areas that I am not as experienced. And because I am not as experienced, I don't necessarily trust myself. It makes sense that I trust myself on things that I've done before, on things that I am consistent with, on things I have experience with. But I'm now being stretched. I'm now being asked to act in new ways. And therefore, I don't quite trust myself the way I would normally trust myself. And so I give myself permission to know I don't have to be perfect in my choices in order for me to be safe. I don't have to be perfect in my choices to move forward. I give myself permission to trust myself, to trust the people who are coaching me, and to trust the process. Knowing that with each choice that I make, I'm giving myself the opportunity to learn, so the next choice is a little easier. And with each new choice, I give myself permission to trust myself some more. Nice big deep breath. Big stretch. And if you got some water nearby or something else, you feel comfortable taking some sips, do that as we move through this. Excellent. Let's move on to number 2. Oftentimes, when we are making a new offer, we're reaching out to people who we have a relationship with. And sometimes that offer is new and sometimes that offer is different. And because that's the case, there can be some hesitancy around that. So I want you to tune in if you have an offer. And we say warm audiences, people who you already have a relationship with in some way, typically professionally, because we're going to do some work around the personal stuff here in a moment. So just tap along with me. I recognize the fact simply coming up with a great offer is not enough. It is not true that if you build it, they will come. And we need to be in a situation where we are reaching out to the people that we know. We're reaching out to the people we've worked with in the past. We're reaching out to people who we have a relationship with. And even though I understand this is useful, even though I understand that this might be a little scary, I know it's something I need to do. And the part of me that is worried about being judged is just trying to keep me safe. I don't want the people who know me to think badly about me. I don't want the people who I have a good relationship with to doubt that particular relationship. And the reality is, when I reach out to my warm audience, I'm going to get one of 3 responses. Some people are going to be excited, which is wonderful. Some people are going to have questions, which means I get to engage with them, which is wonderful. And some people, they are not going to resonate. It's not going to be a good fit for them, or it's not work that they are currently interested in. And 3.5 minutes after sharing my new offer with them, they're going to forget I even reached out, which is also wonderful. I give myself permission to trust the relationships that I already have, knowing that any new offer can only be additive to that relationship. And there are some people in my warm audience who are going to be so excited to hear from me. And I will be doing them a great service by reaching out. Nice big deep breath. As we're tapping through all of these, if any tail enders pop up, and a tail ender is just a yeah, but that your subconscious mind says, make sure you jot those down. Those become really good fodder for us to continue doing mindset work in the future, either on our own or working with someone else. So make sure you don't lose those. The other thing that happens is some really interesting ahas are going to come popping up. Grab those ahas as well, because they'll be inspirational for you again in the future. Great. Number 3. Making this offer for the first time. Move from point to point. I recognize the fact. The offer I have created is a new offer for me. The offer I have created, I haven't shared before. And because I have never shared it before, my subconscious mind is thinking of the 87 million things that could go wrong. My subconscious mind is trying to solve every possible problem, even the problems that are a 1 in a million chance. I recognize the fact when I am making a new offer and making an offer for the first time, it's scary because we want people to say yes. And it's possible they will say no. But I also recognize the fact every single time I make the offer, I'm going to get better at making the offer. I'm going to get better at sharing. And it's going to be possible for me to not only get better at making offers, but also grow in my confidence as I make offers. Even though I won't do it perfectly, I give myself permission to trust myself. Even though it won't go as exactly as planned, I give myself permission to learn from the experience. I recognize the fact it is possible for me to do this for the first time and not only survive, but start building my way to thriving in my business. Nice big deep breath. Again, stretch and move a little bit. If there are any tail enders, anything that came up, jot them down. Any insights, jot them down. Those are super useful as we're working our way through that. Now, oftentimes when we reach out, one of the things that happens is we reach out and people do not respond back. And that can be really, really scary, and that can be really overwhelming. And sometimes it's even hurtful and can undermine our confidence. Let's tap on this a little bit. I recognize the fact that when I reach out, it is very possible that I am not going to hear back from the person. And because I so desperately want to hear from them, not hearing back is really hurtful. Not hearing back feels like judgment. Not only judgment of my work, but judgment of me because I put so much of myself into this work. I really believe in this work. And so anytime someone says no, it can be really painful. But I also recognize the fact somebody not replying doesn't mean that they're saying no. This might not be the exact right time. Or they saw my message when it wasn't convenient for them to reply. They saw the message and thought, when I get back to my desk, I'm going to reply to this. And then life happens. And other things get in the way of them responding. And that is not a no. And that is not a judgment. That is just a distraction. As excited as I am to hear back from people, I give myself permission to be easy with myself, recognizing no response is not a judgment about my work. It's not a judgment about my character. It's not a judgment of my worth. It is just something that's happened in this moment, which is part of an ongoing conversation. Nice big deep breath. And again, jot down any of those tail enders or insights that you have. Also, feel free to drop them into the chat box so other people can enjoy your insights and learnings along with us. Excellent. Next one. So oftentimes when we are moving ourselves from doing something occasionally to doing it as part of our business, we're in a circumstance where it's very, very easy to have to start working in a new way. We go from just putting out fires to creating systems. And sometimes systems are not our natural disposition. They can feel scary. They can feel overwhelming. Let's do a little tapping. I recognize the fact. As I grow my business, there are going to be many more spinning plates. As I grow my business, I'm going to be thinking about many other things. I give myself permission to recognize the fact that even though creating systems is not my natural disposition, and in some areas of my life might even go counter to the way I like to work, I know that creating systems will be a useful thing for me. Even though creating new systems can be hard. Even though it means unlearning unhealthy habits. Even though it takes longer than I want it to. I know over the long term, taking the time now to invest in and creating systems, even though it feels like a step back in the moment, is a huge step forward for the life of my business. even though creating the systems takes a lot of time and attention right now and takes my attention away from other tasks, I understand investing in this way in my business will bear fruits in the long term. Nice big deep breath. Oh, again, big stretch. Move around. If you got some water nearby, grab it. Any tail enders, anything that comes percolating into your head, grab those, jot those down as well. Now, oftentimes when we're growing our business and we're making new offers, we find ourselves already stressed because we're in need of money, and coming up with a new offer to do some short-term cash infusion can actually feel like it is more work. So let's do a little tapping. I recognize the fact. Part of the reason why I want to do cash infusion right now is I'm trying to solve some short-term financial needs in my business so that I can take care of myself, so that I can take care of my business. And I give myself permission to know being stressed is natural. Being stressed makes sense because I live in the modern world. And the modern world requires me to have money. And as I do cash infusion, it feels like a distraction from my regular work. It's making me do a bunch of things that I'm not comfortable with because I'm not necessarily skilled at them. I give myself permission to hear the stress and anxiety. Because the stress and anxiety is just trying to keep me safe. The stress and anxiety is just trying to keep me healthy. By pointing out all of the things that could go wrong, I give myself permission to be gentle with myself. Recognizing the fact that it is possible for me, even in the face of this stress, to make good, thoughtful, deliberate choices, solving the short-term problems, setting my business up for long-term success. Nice big deep breath. Very good. Excellent. Let's move on to the next one. So, for many people who offer and market transformation, they're going from a situation where they're used to doing something that we would call the hourly model, where you're just offering sessions one at a time. And now you're moving into a package which has a higher price tag to it. And because there's a big promise, there is more stress that goes along with it. So, let's just tap on that a little bit. I recognize the fact creating a comprehensive program is the best thing for everyone involved. It creates a good, useful target for my client to move towards. It creates a framework for the transformation. It helps my clients to be all in that transformation. But it's a new way of making an offer. I am used to charging by the session. All of my clients are used to buying by the session. And so it feels like a lot of work to convince them that this is the best way forward. Because when I am offering a high ticket package, I am setting them up for long-term success. And so even though it is scary, even though it is new, even though I am not used to making this sort of offer, it is the best for everyone involved. It helps to ensure my clients get the transformation they want. And it helps me to get true value for what I'm offering. So I can create the sustainable business that serves me. And when I have a sustainable business, it makes impact so much easier. Nice big deep breath. And again, I'd really encourage you, if you have an insight, a thought, a tail end or something, write it down. Even though I created this list of the things that we're tapping on, I can't remember the thing we tapped on the second time around. The likelihood of you going, oh, I'm going to remember that thing is not actually going to happen. We don't want to lose those ideas. It's so valuable when we're tapping. Every time I tap, I have a pen and paper nearby for that exact reason. Now, oftentimes we're in a circumstance where when we are changing our business, when we're creating a new offer, we're starting a new business, we're actually doing it in a way where we're doing something that is new. And so let's do a little tapping for the fact that everybody in our lives knows us for one thing and we're now doing something else. I recognize the fact. The work that I am now doing makes sense for me. It is a good fit for me. And it's a good fit for me moving forward. But just because it has been a natural progression for me to land in this place, there are so many people in my life who do not know me for this thing. And so I am stuck in a little box. And this new offer that I am making goes against everybody else's expectations. In all human subconscious mind, want something that is predictable. Want something that is understandable. And at the exact same time, I recognize the fact I am not static. I am constantly changing and evolving. And the people in my life know that I'm changing and evolving, even if they don't think about it in a conscious way. Even though this might be an abrupt change to them, they're going to catch up. They're going to make this a part of my identity. And what feels like it is coming out of left field right now, very, very soon will be the new normal. Very, very soon will be the way they think about me. Until I change again. And they will understand. And they will eventually catch up to that change as well. Nice big deep breath. Excellent. Big stretch. Move a little bit. Whenever I used to tap with my buddy Alan Davidson, when I'd tell him to stretch, he'd always go and give a big shake and just get his way back into his body. And again, as we're doing this, feel free to be continually grabbing a little water and sipping your way through what we're doing here. So this is very, very similar to what we just tapped on. Move from point to point. I recognize the fact, because this is something that is new, not only is it outside of the expectations of the people in my life, there's a part of me that is afraid that the people in my life aren't going to believe this. Because this is something that is new, I'm not going to be seen as credible. And the reality is, for some people, that is going to be the case until it is no longer the case. It is going to seem weird until it no longer seems weird. And there are some people in my life who are never going to see this as believable. There's some people in our lives who are going to see us exactly the same way they saw us when they first met us. And this is true for every part of our lives, not just the work we do. But the reality is, the people I can be most helpful to will come around. Some of them will do it right away, and some of them it'll take a little more time. But I give myself permission to trust myself, to trust the process, and to trust I'm going to connect with the right people in the right time. Nice big deep breath. Excellent. Now, oftentimes when we are in our business and we're working on cash infusion, that's some sort of short-term solution to what is going on. It can be frustrating because we're not getting a chance to work on the big picture. And so let's tap on that a little bit. I recognize the fact when I am trying to solve a short-term cash flow problem with a short-term cash infusion offer, oftentimes I'm creating something that is new The infrastructure might be new. The offering might be new. The marketing might be new. All of those things might be new. And because they are new, they require time. They require attention. But every minute that I am investing in this is a minute that I'm not investing in my business in a long-term way. Every minute I'm investing in this is time that is not being spent on long-term sustainability. But I recognize the fact I am caught between the short and long term. And sometimes I have to invest in the short term in order to create stability so that I can have success in the long term. I give myself permission to be gentle with myself. As I am working on the short term and the long term at the exact same time, knowing that sometimes I have to invest in the short term in order to be successful in the long term. And my time and intention being invested in a short-term cash infusion way is about setting me up for success in the long term. Nice big deep breath. Excellent. Now, oftentimes in our businesses, as we are growing, we have a brand new offer to a brand new target market, and that can feel scary. So let's just tap for that. I recognize the fact this is the first time I'm offering to this target market. And I don't have firsthand experience serving this target market in this way. And so I give myself permission to know that it is possible for me to effectively learn how to do this. And give myself permission to know that every single thing I have ever done in my life, with the exception of breathing, is not something I knew how to do until I knew how to do it. And so even though this is new for me, even though this is a stretch for me, I know I can learn to do this in a successful way. I know I can learn to make this offer for the first time. Because every single thing I am successful at in my life, there was an insecure first time that I survived, that I learned from, that became the foundation for this new success. Nice big deep breath. Excellent. So those are the 11 topics that I had. This entire video is going, if you're watching this live, is going to live on the YouTube site for a while. It's not going away. If you're watching the replay of it, also know we're going to take these 11 little tap-alongs, hack them up into individual videos as well. So they're standalone, and they're even easier for you to find. If you enjoyed tap-alongs like this, make sure you click subscribe and turn on those notifications so that each time we do a little tap-along like this or answer questions or do whatever live, you are notified so you can come and join the fun. If you got questions about anything that we covered today or how I can be helpful in the future, I can always be reached at support@tappingqa.com. For those of you who are joining us live, for those of you who are joining after the fact, thanks for taking a few moments to work on your mindset so it's easier for you to create really awesome resources which will make the world a better place. For Tapping Q&A, it's Gene Monterastelli. Hope you have a great day. I will talk to you guys real soon. Bye-bye.